Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
Now, the claims were stark that chemicals used in fracking could cause cancer or that drinking water might be contaminated. Now, the advertising watchdog says Friends of the Earth has agreed to stop repeating what it called misleading claims about fracking, saying they didn't have enough evidence to prove them. Kemi Nzerim is in North Yorkshire, where drilling for shale gas has been given the green light.
The passing traffic honks in approval. Despite an embarrassing setback for the national campaign against fracking, at this site in Rydale, North Yorkshire, the camp is digging in.
If anywhere is the front line in the campaign against fracking, it's here, just outside Kirkby Misperton. And the people at the camp here say the fight is far from over.
Fracking near this site was given the final go-ahead last month after a High Court challenge. Within days, the camp appeared.
We're hoping that this becomes the focal point for the whole country. Rydale is the front line in that our application is the only one that's live at the moment, that's going ahead at the moment. The well's already been drilled, so it will be the first place to frack unless we can stop it. I imagine when the time comes, we're going to have a field full of concerned citizens who are willing to put their bodies between this industry and our land.
You guys just being NIMBYs?
Well, we get accused of being NIMBYs if we're local, and we get accused of being agitators if we're from elsewhere. You know, this is much bigger than Rydale.
The UK needs energy. How much can or will fracking eventually provide? Well, so far it's only been approved in 2 locations. Kirkby Misperton and over the Pennines in Lancashire, which is where campaigning has landed anti-frackers in hot water. Leading environmental group Friends of the Earth today agreed to withdraw this leaflet after an energy firm complained about it to the Advertising Standards Authority. Quadrilla challenged a number of claims FOE made that fracking involves pumping millions of litres of water containing a toxic cocktail of chemicals deep underground. Up to 80% never returns to the surface and could end up in your drinking water. And they disputed a number of health claims, including that 25% of fracking chemicals could cause cancer. The Advertising Standards Authority said, in the absence of adequate evidence, Friends of the Earth shouldn't repeat the claims. But it's done nothing to allay fears back in Yorkshire.
There is overwhelming proof because there are very many peer-reviewed documents by renowned scientists that will state clearly that fracking is detrimental to people's health. I think it's disingenuous of people to say that it is not harmful and that there's no proof.
The fracking industry, though, insists it is safe, and work is expected to start just up the road from here early this year by the firm Third Energy. Third Energy say they respect the rights to lawful and peaceful protest, and they say they've been producing gas in this area safely for more than 2 decades, and they say they look forward to continuing to do so in the future.
Well, earlier I spoke to Rose Dickinson of Friends of the Earth and Ken Cronin, who represents the UK onshore oil and gas industry, about who was right in this row. I started by asking Rose Dickinson if she stood by all the claims in the Friends of the Earth leaflet.
Friends of the Earth stand by everything that we've ever said about fracking. And just to be clear...
In that leaflet?
Yes, and just to be clear, the ASA have not ruled against us. Actually, they have dropped the case, and that's why we will continue to campaign against fracking and highlight the risks that it poses to people and the environment.
Well, the ASA, the Advertising Standards Watchdog, says that you've backed down, that you decided that you wouldn't publish this leaflet again. So do you stand by that leaflet and the claims within?
We stand by all the claims in that leaflet, and the ASA have not ruled against us. We will continue to campaign against fracking and the risks that it poses to people and the environment.
Ken Cronin, this is a publicity stunt by the industry, isn't it? Because you just heard there, Friends of the Earth are standing by the claims in that leaflet.
Well, I think first of all, it's very clear that the ASA today have made a ruling. It's rather like Friends of the Earth turning up to court just before a court case and then pleading guilty. It's very clear that Friends of the Earth have been scaremongering, have been frightening residents, and the information that they've put out there, they've now backed away from and have told the ASA they will not put it out again.
Well, hang on a sec. Friends of the Earth are saying that the ASA are the ones that dropped the case without launching a formal investigation.
Well, it's very clear that Friends of the Earth have said to the ASA that they will not put that information out into the public domain again.
Well, let me put that to Rose Dickinson.
We stand by everything that we have said in that leaflet, and we are not scaremongering. We are highlighting the risks that fracking poses, which is backed up by internationally peer-reviewed studies. And actually, I think this is a distraction from the main issue, which is that a profit-driven fracking company are trying to silence opposition, and we're saying we will not be silenced, and we will continue to highlight the risks that fracking poses.
So if you stand by the claims in the leaflet, why have you given undertakings to the ASA not to publish it again?
All we have said to the ASA is that we will not continue to circulate an old leaflet about fracking. We stand by everything in the leaflet.
Ken Cronin?
I understand that Friends of the Earth have given an assurance that they will not put out this false information again.
Well, they've said that they will put out the claims in the leaflet again.
Well, if they do so, then I'm sure the industry will take that into account and look at it again.
Look, as I said, we stand by everything that we said in that leaflet, and it's not just us that highlight the risk about fracking. If you look at places around the world, New York State, France, Germany, and the Netherlands, they've halted or banned fracking precisely because of the risks that it poses to people and the environment, and the fact that it isn't compatible with tackling climate change.
Well, Ken Cronin, there is some evidence, isn't there, that when not done properly, fracking can contaminate the water supply. It happened in Texas, for example.
It's very clear in this country that we have a very good regulatory system. We have 4 separate regulators that look at this. All of our applications are looked at by those 4 separate regulators. And with respect to climate change, the Committee on Climate Change have already looked at this and have said that it is compatible if we pass 3 tests. And we believe that those 3 tests will be met.
Water contamination wouldn't happen in this country. It might happen in Texas, but not here.
Lord Chris Smith, who's chair of the ASA, when he was chair of the Environment Agency, said that groundwater contamination is the biggest environmental risk of fracking. And if Lord Chris Smith can say that, then why can't we? The fact is that fracking is incompatible with tackling climate change. It does pose risks to people and to the environment, and that's why it's resisted across the country, and which is why it shouldn't go ahead.
Well, it's hard to say what the impact would be in the UK because it's not happening across the UK at the moment. But there is a potential risk, isn't there, that water contamination, for example, could happen?
All industrial processes have risks. What you do as a part of the process for planning and environmental permitting is look at those risks, look at the probability, look how you mitigate them, and then properly look and see and put them in permits and then have them highly regulated. That has been done. Lord Smith, comments by Rose there have been taken out of context. He is quite right to say that water contamination is an issue that should be looked at, and we have looked at it, as have all the other regulators.
Rose Dickinson, this is the heart of the problem, isn't it? You souped up these claims and therefore you allowed yourself to appear to be scaremongering.
We backed up everything in that leaflet with over 100 references for each point. And just to be clear, again, the ASA have not ruled against us. All that has been said is that we won't circulate an old leaflet.
But the ASA don't believe your claims in that leaflet.
The ASA have simply said that we won't be circulating this old leaflet. But the facts remain, which is that fracking poses risks. If you look at Victoria in Australia, they recently banned fracking because the risks outweigh the benefits. And that's the point. The point is that we shouldn't be fracking. It's bad for the environment, it's bad for people, and it's bad for the climate.
But the fact that you allowed some of these claims to go out without qualifying words, that has damaged your reputation, hasn't it?
Everything in that leaflet was backed up by internationally peer-reviewed references, and that's why we stand by everything in them.
No reputational damage?
No reputational damage. We will continue to speak up against fracking.
Ken Cronin, the damage has been done to your industry, hasn't it? Friends of the Earth has published this leaflet. It's had huge publicity today. That is bound to damage trust in fracking, isn't it?
I think that the general public need to look very carefully at why Friends of the Earth have pulled that leaflet and have also given an assurance that they will not put out those misleading claims again. This is a highly regulated industry. We need gas to power our homes and heat our homes, and also to reduce our import dependency. That is very, very clear.
But do you think the public trust the energy industry any more than it trusts Friends of the Earth? Because, I mean, you yourselves are no stranger to misleading claims, and I'm looking at a ruling by the ASA in 2013 which censured Quadrilla for claiming that it uses, quote, proven safe technologies.
I think that the general public should take very, very careful consideration to the fact that we've actually been producing oil and gas onshore in this country for many, many decades, very close to local communities, environmentally and operationally safely.
Ken Cronin, Rose Dickinson, thank you very much for joining me.